go, and this is what we would like to see. But as a group, we needed to determine how we're going to get there for you. So first we wanted to look into, our first step of our research was we wanted to see what Grove City knew. And, as far as objectives for this campaign, we have 3 primary, and that's informative, attitudinal, and behavioral objectives. So as far as the informative objectives are concerned, we wanted to know, what does Grove City even know about what's going on literally across the road for most of them? So we started very basic, and the girls and I spent the afternoon at the county market asking Grove City what they knew. Basic questions such as, have you heard of George Jr.? Thankfully, 96% of them said that they had. But where we started to kind of uncover where maybe the problem is lying is when we asked about the particular program. So for instance, did you know that George Jr. had an equestrian program? 66% of the 100 people we surveyed that day were unaware that George Jr. had an equestrian program. Along the same path, 41% of the people did not know that the VOTEC had that George Jr. had a VOTEC program. Moving forward, 53% were unaware of the art program, 78% were unaware of the ropes course program, and where the next problem lies is, have they ever considered donating to George Jr. Republic? And 77% of the people that day surveyed said no. So right up front, statistically, this gives us a pretty good backbone to work off of. The problem is that a lot of people might just not know about these programs, but then we also see kind of a problem where 77% haven't even considered donating. But something that the girls and I discovered that day was a little bit more of a qualitative insight to the approach, and that was kind of the attitude we were getting back from the Grove City residents. To be honest, it was at times an uneasy conversation. I don't know if it's because we were interrupting their Sunday grocery shopping or what have you, but you could definitely start to pick up on kind of not an overall positive image. And that's something, as far as attitudinal objectives are concerned, we really want to focus on with this campaign. So moving forward was the next step of our research. So this was twofold. So now we know that the city of Grove City really isn't aware of what's going on there. So we're going to tell them. But in order to tell them, the group felt that we wanted to know not just the black and white of these programs, but the core emotions and the feelings and what drives, your staff and faculty to get up out of bed every day and dedicate their lives to these programs. So we started off with an in-depth interview, and the girls spent time with each of the program directors and kind of used these framework of questions. And what was interesting was, yes, we got these answers from them, and it was a lot of good, like I said, kind of black and white evidence, but then we started to pull that raw emotion out, and something like that is something we want to communicate and be able to communicate to the city. So moving forward, we also wanted to know why the students chose these programs. What makes these programs special to the students? And also is something that I think we really took away from this survey was how many of them want to continue on similar careers at these programs, such as the VOTEC is an easy standout for this. And a lot of them reported that this is something they are interested in pursuing. Residents of Grove City would probably want to know things like that, right across the road, they're building and shaping young kids into professionals every day. So the next part of our research is, now we understand, okay, what do we need to inform, how do we need to inform them, but then ultimately one of our objectives is the behavioral, donating, supporting these programs. So we wanted to know typically what drives people to donate, what drives people not to donate. And we thought the best way to do this would be conduct a focus group. So the girls sat down with about six residents of Grove City that was help coordinated with one of our professors. Typically a lot of them do donate. And the girls spent time asking, where do you donate? Why do you donate? And then what are some things that you consider when you are donating? And something I think that we took away was that people want to know that their money is benefiting the community in some way. Little do they know, the girls and I were blown away by the fact that you could get your oil changed at George Jr. for $5. I mean, to me, that's a benefit to the community. But a lot of people don't know that. So we were able to take away, okay, maybe if we can inform them how these programs help them too, that can increase sponsorship dollars and increase that overall support with the community. So we've done our research. And do we know at George Jr. that you never stop believing? Well, the girls and I are here tonight to tell you that we're not going to stop believing either. So we developed a kind of 4-part campaign like we talked about the first evening, and the first part of that deals with hope. So Hope's Brand of Hope is your George Junior Equestrian program. And you're going to start to see kind of a pattern here. Obviously, as far as the informative goes for the community, we're going to start off right away with a general information brochure, things that we can pass out at the county market that people can take home and read and become aware of what's going on across the road. As far as social media is concerned, we think that starting with the basics and sticking with the basics instead of trying to do all these different social media outlets is probably your best way to go. And with a Facebook page for all of these programs, you're able to engage then in a two-way communication with special interest groups like your local 4-H, like your tack shops, all of whom more than likely have a Facebook page at this point. And this is also like an easy way to upload pictures. It might be a possibility for some of the riders to help engage and update these posts. And then there's also features available such as Hootsuite, where we can actually set up a month's worth of posts for you, next Monday, and they'll go off automatically. So it's things that we can do and implement to make it look like it's being regularly updated, but we've actually already done that part for you. So moving forward would be our next tactic, and that's creating a separate website tab for the equestrian program. I did have the opportunity to look at some of the resources you provided in regards to what maybe other programs are doing. And I thought that that was a really good starting point. So something for George Junior is we thought about doing like a Meet the Horse section, kind of like a headshot of the horse and a little bit about him, because we kind of think that similarly the two-legged participants are important, but so are the four-legged. So we want to engage the community and let them know who's really across the street too. Moving forward with this is such a beautiful facility, and a lot of people in Grove City might not ever get the experience to see it, but if we provide a virtual tour, Alicia is very good at videoing, and we've kind of created like a YouTube idea of what we can do with this. So conducting a virtual tour and then also a photo gallery of riding or the barn or the area, really opening up the eyes of the community into George Junior. And then another thing that I saw across a lot of these programs was the opportunity for a sponsorship package, and we thought that this would be a really good strategy to do both. You can do monthly options and then yearly options, so you can donate at any level. And then there would be certain rewards and incentives with that. Obviously we would template a thank you follow-up letter for you, so you can just kind of plug the name. The thank you letter will be typed out, and the signature and date is the only thing you would have to update. And also, things like nameplates on stalls, thank you for donating, recognition that way. And another feature of the sponsorship packages that we thought would be super beneficial is an a la carte feature. So I know, coming from an equestrian background, I told the class I have thousands of extra tack laying around and brushes and things like that. If there's an option to be able to donate that to your program, I think we think that would be a really good kind of a la carte feature to a sponsorship package. Twofold, you can donate $20 and help with the next vet bill or the farrier bill, things like that. So moving forward to our next program, into the future, our Skills of the Future, the George Junior VOTEC program. Now, this is where I started to kind of touch on what George Junior can do for the community. Again, sticking with our basic structure of a program Facebook page, separate website tab, and on that tab, we want to list the services that are available to the community. Again, to repeat, we were amazed at what the kids at George Junior can do for everyone. I know Shanika was saying that she was about to take her hard next week to get it done. So allowing the community to see what they can do, or what George Junior can do for them, is a really good tool into helping engage them. And also success stories. We were blown away by some of the success stories that the program director was talking about. I mean, one of your students is out there making $72 an hour. That's amazing. And I think if the community realizes that these professionals are being built, again, right across the road, that's something that really would engage them and maybe rally up some support. Again, a virtual tour of the facility. And then what we were thinking for a media kit for this program is pretty unique. So we're coming upon the season now where people are going to need their winter tires changed, and who's going to do them? George Junior is going to do them, and do it for a really affordable cost. So creating these kind of seasonal flyers and press releases and fact sheets, same fold when it comes springtime and we're moving into the summer, George Junior students can help build sheds, they can help build outdoor fireplaces, things like that, making the community aware of what we can do for them. And then, like I said, the girls and I will have templates ready for you that will literally just have to be filled out and sent away then, according to the appropriate season. And something that Alicia really looked into for this part was the possible partnerships. I know that in the past there have been here and there partnership with local garages. I am aware that one of our members of the focus group even donated a car. But we feel that there's a lot of potential out there as far as home improvement stores, local auto body shops, and things like that. So again, it goes back to informing the public what we can do for them and bringing them in that way and creating that two-way kind of relationship. So the third part of our campaign would be your ropes course. Now this is a little bit different, switching gears. This is more of a lack of information available for the community. So I know we have talked about just a simple information brochure and a separate website tab with pictures, because I think, you know, going back to the survey, when we asked, a lot of people were like, no, and then they're like, well, what's a ropes course? And you know, like the team built, oh. So I think if more people were just educated on a basic level, it would create more of an awareness that, you know, these are important skills that things like the ropes course help develop, the teamwork, and things that these students can really take into their futures. So last is the Talent of Tomorrow, the George Junior Art Program. Again, the general information brochure and Facebook page, separate website tab with a virtual tour and photo gallery. And then here we're going to start to branch out, or we're proposing that you branch out into the community a couple different ways. But to backtrack, we really want to increase kind of our support and our, you know, this is kind of a common theme where the art programs are starting to lack commitment and I don't want to say relevance, but a lot of support, not only internally but externally. We're seeing a lot of it with the public education system, and you know, we don't want this to happen with George Junior. So we really want to pull in the faculty and staff and show them, look at what this program is doing for the students. Look how much of a positive environment is something we took away from our in-depth interview. So we thought, what better way than to bring them in and show them? And a way to do this would be to do a student showcase for the faculty and staff. And we know that there's a culinary program with, you know, that kind of ties in with the vocational program. So what if, you know, one day we had a cookout and during school hours when everyone's there and they can stop in and see some of the work that the students are doing. It's kind of like we feel would bond a relationship between faculty, staff, students alike. And then moving externally would be for a gallery outreach. A lot of galleries, Alicia was looking into maybe getting some of the students' pieces there. That way when, you know, the community and surrounding community members are visiting these galleries, they're seeing what George Junior is doing and how talented and how, you know, inspirational these pieces are. And then another unique feature of this campaign would be the Spotlight Our Students program. And this is something, for example, a local coffee shop could adopt. If you go in and for X amount of dollars, you know, George Junior students will weld you a little coffee pot, and then they could display that in their coffee shop. So then when residents are going in to get their everyday coffee, they're saying, wow, that's really neat. Where's that from? Oh, it's George Junior. Then again, we're hitting the informational, the attitudinal, and then ultimately the behavioral and increasing sponsorship to these programs. So with all this being said, we know again, you don't stop believing, we're not stopping believing, and we hope that this campaign will help Grove City to never stop believing.
You're hired.
Do you have any questions for us at this point?
No, I think it's, first of all,